Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now, we got a little bit of a treat for you today. We did mention in the last video that we've been trying to catch up on some of our breeding programs. And we have slowly but surely been working our way through them. And one of the things that we paired up recently was our Brachypelma smithi. Now, we do have a number of Brachypelmas, but we very rarely ever show them on the channel. We don't do very much with them at all, really. And this is because we've recently, over the last year or so, we've started sort of collecting up some adult females of the different Brachypelmas. And we are going to attempt to breed a few different ones of them. Now, in terms of sort of viewing, they don't make the most exciting things because we keep them in very basic form. So we keep them in smaller tubs, which are very, very basic. They're literally just a bit of substrate, a cork hide. That's about it. Water bowl. So we don't actually do a great deal with them at the moment. Now, when we move and we change and we get a new room, I am thinking of doing some proper displays for some of our Brachypelmas because they are an exciting spider in terms of how they look. Some of them are very, very striking, and some of them I do really like a lot, but I don't find them that inspiring to house. It doesn't seem to be a huge amount that we can do with them. I much prefer my arboreal spiders, to be fair. Now, so that being said, we did get a reasonable good amount of footage of this pairing, and there was a number of different things there that were different in these Brachypelma when they paired compared to some of the other pairings that we've done. So I thought it'd be interesting to go back, have a look at them, plus the fact I know many of you guys really do enjoy your Brachypelmas, and it's something we have been lacking on the channel, and I think it's about time we rectified it. So we are going to do a little bit more with some of our Brachypelmas, and we're going to see a bit more of them. Now, we've managed to pair up a few different ones recently, and some have gone reasonably well, others have gone a little bit haywire, some just don't want to know each other, pure and simple. So it's been a bit of a learning curve, if you like, with the differences in how they're behaving, and it's very interesting. It's something that we want to go full on next year. We will give it 100% next year, but we thought we'd have a little try now, have a little play around and see what we can do. So without me babbling on, check out this bit of footage and see what you think. It really is quite cool. You'll see some good stuff. Right, I'll see you in a moment. Well, here we have our Brachypelma smithi. Now, this female I purchased last year, I believe, from the spider shop, and the male that we have just popped in there, you can see him down in the bottom left hand corner. He was also, I believe, or led to believe, purchased from the spider shop as well. So we should have some pure smithi. Now, there seems to be an awful lot of backwards and forwards with these and the Hamori, and yeah, it's proven rather difficult. This female is that we can see there now. You can see her clearly in the shot. You can see she's a very mature female. Absolutely gorgeous spiders. Now, the Brachypelmas are a spider that, cool, when I first came into the hobby some 40 years ago, the smithi was the main staple spider of the hobby. I mean, there wasn't that many to choose from. There was probably half a dozen spiders to actually choose from, and the smithi was one of them. And they went on like that for many years, until eventually over collecting caused them to become quite endangered in the wild state in Mexico. and there's been a huge effort placed over the last few years to re-establish them. There was a big project going on in Mexico where they actually collected wild caught specimens and bred them for reintroduction. This was done many years ago. So they've really been through the circuit, if you like, and it just goes to show that even when things are in surplus quantity, like these were back in the day, you still need to look after them. And this is why it's so important that all of the spiders that we have in the hobby today, we breed. We must try and do our bit and breed as much as we can, as many different species as we can. You know, I appreciate breeding is not for everybody, but it is, you know, if you've got the time and the inclination, you know, to actually to attempt it, then I would wholeheartedly give it a go. Because if you're successful, you're actually procuring the future of the hobby with your captive bred stock. Very, very important. Now we can see our male there, he's doing a little bit of tapping now. Our female has moved a little bit, not a lot. Oh, she goes now. She's actually having a bit of a move now. Now, as you can appreciate, these guys are, it can take 5 or 6 years for a male to mature. And so they are quite valuable in the term that it just takes so long for anybody to mature. I mean, this female is possibly 10, 12 years old. Now you can see how low he's laking. He's literally hugging the floor, tapping away. And you can see he really stretches them front legs out. Look at that. Lovely little leg shake there. Very interesting how low he's staying to the floor. Getting a little bit more forceful there. Beautiful colour. Look at that black. Absolutely stunning. And they've got quite a pale orange on the legs. Now we can tell the smithies because on the carapace they have less black. They're not as black as a Hamori. With the Hamori they get very, very black carapaces. And we'll see even more so with our female. She has only got literally almost like the black mask. You can see there he's stomping his feet now. Now we keep our Brachypelmas in a very, very simple enclosure. There you go, there's our female there. You can see the carapace. Very, very pale. So we keep them in a very, very simple enclosure, literally just a cork hide, couple of inches of substrate. They don't require a great deal. And even when we've given them more, they don't seem to burrow or do anything. They really do. They're a true terrestrial spider. They spend their whole time up on the top, and they very, very rarely ever use the cork hides. They seem to be out and about. Every time we take them down off the rack, you'll see that they're just sitting out. They're very, very stable spiders. You know, he's there. He's showing his presence now. You notice how the stomping, the slapping of the feet is becoming much harder. She's waiting for him to literally come all the way. Now this girl I think has only fed once or twice since we've had her. They don't seem to eat very much at all, especially as they get older. Now he's creeping his way in there. There we go, we have contact there. And she's not sure, she's actually moving away. We might just have to move her back in. She climbed up there nice and easy. Oh, there we go. Now look at that. As soon as we make contact, it's so interesting how they could have actually walked around doing very little. Now there's a little bit of a kerfuffle going on here. Our female is being quite forceful. This is a time now where we need to sort of relax, just watch the situation. As you can see, there is still plenty of distance between our spiders. You know, they're at a full length, leg length away from one another. See our male there trying to gain the higher ground. Interesting that even with a terrestrial spider, they still will try and maintain, get a little bit of height between them and their female. Now, it was tempting to intervene at this point because the water bowl was actually causing a bit of a problem for our male. And I decided to just leave them to it, just let them get on with it, see what happens, because our female's calmed down a bit now. And our male is now moving in. You can see there, look, he's actually coming into position. You can see his pedipalps working away down there now. Now, with the Brachypelmas, the females can be quite harsh on the male, so we were literally hanging in the wings here, just watching. There you go, we've got insemination now. Perfect. That was a good insemination. You can see how her attitude has changed. She's really eased off now. Quite clumsy. There you go, insemination again. Now, sorry for the camera work. I am busy getting ready to dive in should we need to. Notice how her legs are starting to curl over now. She's starting to get a little bit more of a grip on his front legs. You see that? He's pushing her back a little bit now. Now we can see now from this different camera angle how she's curling her legs over his. And this is slowly but surely trying to secure him. He's going in for another try now. You can see how she's literally folding up on him very, very subtly. And also her back legs, look how they're poised. She's ready for a grab. Now he's trying to back away now. She's held him, he's panicked. And he's trying to get up the side and he's fallen back in. Now our female, and now you can see there, we have secured the female with a paintbrush between the fangs and we've held her back. Our male is busy doing his thing. And we can see it again from this angle. And it was very difficult because we were trying to film and trying to save our male, trying to do everything at once. So it's a little bit haphazard. But most important thing is we save the male. But when we're doing this, we are concentrating on the female. If we can secure the female, because she is the aggressor, she is the one causing the problem. She's the one trying to eat him. There you go, you can see that paintbrush between her fangs. Once we've got her settled, we can then concentrate on moving our male, but we must wait until she's settled. You see she just sat there now, she's just waiting. We bring our male in, scoop him up, pop him into his pot. Job done. Well, that was pretty exciting, and I'm sure our male will be very thankful. We'll go and have a rest and a quick drink. A job well done. We will have one more pairing of these and we'll see how they go. Very pleased. Well, I did say it was quite exciting, didn't I? And to be honest with you, they actually show up so well on camera. They really do look lovely on camera. Especially for you guys that are sitting there watching it on your big TVs in your living room. I bet they look lovely on there. I've never actually done that myself. I must do it. I must check them out, put them on the big TV, see what they look like. Now, you would have seen there how the difference, the whole thing, the whole setup is very, very different to what we normally do. Now, you would have seen there the very basic enclosure, which I mentioned earlier on. So we keep them very, very simple. There's no need. These are purely, these are like maintenance enclosures that we keep our spiders in. And it does keep it nice and easier for when we're pairing, because there's not so much stuff in the way. And being a terrestrial spider, it's good to have that open space. I think going forward, we could probably upgrade them into slightly larger ones for breeding. It might work a little better. But yeah, you would have seen the difference in the behaviour. One of the things that struck me was our male. Did you notice how low he laid on the floor? He's literally squashed himself down onto the floor and then he kept slapping. and he was very low to the floor. So I found that quite interesting. And you'll see there as well, he was fairly stretched out all the time. He was a little bit apprehensive. Now, when he finally did make contact with our female, she was like, nah, not having none of this. I'm out of here. And we had to coax her down with a brush, get her to come down. Now, unfortunately, with the terrestrial spiders like these, they don't grip the sides quite so well. So when they come down, they generally slide down or they fall down. That made our male jump. He shot forward and then she shot forward. And as soon as they sort of came in and mixed up, it all hell broke loose, and that was it. They were on. Now, it was very, very interesting to actually witness, because I can imagine an awful lot of people at that point would have thought that that was bad, and they would have intervened and they would have split them up. All they are doing there, that is the introduction. We're just saying, hello, I'm here, my name's so-and-so, and they got it on. Now, what you're looking for when they do that is you're looking at that madness to slowly subside, and they slowly calm down. And you saw that happen. In the space of probably 5 or 6 seconds, we went from chaotic to steady. And then you see they were back to literally just doing this again. Once we get them to that point, we know we're relatively good. Our female settled, our male settled. They both realised that the other one means them no harm at this point in time. So then they get it on. Now, you would have seen there, he didn't really muck around. He didn't waste too much time. Once he actually got off the water bowl and he got a little bit of purchase, he managed to push her back, and then you see him push her over, and he got that perfect insemination. Absolutely wonderful. Now, we saw that, I think, 3 times in that pairing. So he done a really, really good job. Now, one of the things that is sort of like noticeable, and this is what you really need to be looking for when you're pairing your spiders. Really, really concentrate on what the female is doing, because although they're in there like this, her posture's changing all the time. Sometimes you can see it in the back legs. You'll see her stiffen her back legs up, and you know she's getting ready to go. So you keep an eye on them. And then you would have seen there, just at the point right near the end, we got the last insemination in, and then you see how she went from being up like this, they were like that, and then she went from being up like that to literally she started to crawl over, and she literally gripped over the top of him, and you could see as she was starting to pull him in. And that was a sign to me that maybe her intentions are slowly changing, and we need to keep an eye. And that was why we changed the camera angle. We went from our main camera, we went down to the iPhone, and we got some angles there. And then I was literally phone in one hand, paintbrush in the other, and I was filming and watching, and then all of a sudden you see it kick off. Now, part of that was because he tried to back away. She started to grip him. This made him panic. He then tried to pull away quickly, but couldn't climb up the side backwards. If that had been one of our arboreal spiders, he would have been gone, out of there like a shot. But these, they can't climb quite so well like that. And you'll notice he climbed up and then he fell back down. And she was already there. She was waiting. And we had to dive in with the brush, and we go straight in. Remember, when we've done these before, when we've done the Sturmies, I think it was, we always, no matter what you're breeding, you concentrate on the female. She is the aggressor. If anyone's going to be eating, it's going to be her. She wants to eat that male. So we get in there, paintbrush down in the front of her, between the fangs, and we push her back. We physically push her back. Our male is doing his best to get out of the way. He's appreciative of the help. And we push her back. And then what we do is we can hold her there until she settles, and you'll see how her posture changes. She sort of goes, oh, like that. And she just settles down, and we just hold it there. Forget about the male. Don't matter what he's doing. He can do whatever he wants. Doesn't matter. That female is the one we need to concentrate on. And you'll see there, as soon as we saw that she was settled and she weren't going to move again, we got our box in, we helped him up. So what we done is, as he's trying to climb, we get our paintbrush underneath him, and we basically lift him out. And then we plop him over the side, straight into his box, lid on it, job done. One safe male spider. And it's very, very important that if you're going to intervene, you must concentrate on that female. She is the one to deal with. Don't worry about your male. Let him run around, do whatever he wants. He just needs to escape. So we had a successful pairing there. Very, very exciting. Very exciting. Also, as well, we know with these two here, these are actually both documented as smithies. So we know we've got two smithies. So we've got two pure spiders, and they've come from recognised sources. So it should be absolutely spot on, and we shouldn't need to worry any further about that. So that's a really cool thing. And because, as we said in the very beginning, the smithy used to be the mainstay of the hobby. Back when I was a child, they were one of only probably half a dozen spiders really in the hobby. There was very, very little about, very little. But they were the one. And it's because they're so colourful, they're big, they're relatively docile as well. And they proved amazingly popular as pets. And they were collected in their thousands. And I mean, well, millions. They would have been collected in their millions. And unfortunately, this did end up knocking the wild population to a point of being endangered. And they became very, very scarce. Now, I can hear you all tutting, you know, what a terrible thing to happen. What you got to remember is 40 odd years ago, we didn't have the knowledge that we have today. We didn't understand the loss. 40 years ago, we just thought, you know, we've got hundreds today, we'll have hundreds tomorrow, we'll still have hundreds in a couple of years' time because there are hundreds. It doesn't work like that. And it's taken all throughout the animal kingdom and many, many things. It takes us as a human species years and years and years to understand and fully appreciate the impact that we have by the actions that we take. And, you know, luckily for the Mexican Red Knee, the smithy, luckily for that spider, we actually caught it in time. And there's been big efforts to actually reintroduce these spiders with purebred stock that was taken from the wild and purposely bred in a designed project to actually get put back into the wild. So we've taken from the wild, which goes straight back into the wild. So we know they are pure stock, and it worked out to be a very, very successful project, and something that still goes on, I believe, today. I still believe there are some today. So this, again, because of the impact that we've had on that particular species of spider, it's very, very important as us as hobbyists, if you can at all, or you have the inclination to try and breed your spiders, please do so, because every time we are successful and we breed a spider, we are putting new spiders back into the hobby. We are allowing for less to be collected in the wild. So there are spiders that we collect today, especially some of the true spiders that are being collected today are collected in the same numbers that we used to collect the smithy. And eventually these spiders will run out, you know, if they're not bred within the hobby. We must do our bit, try and breed as much as we can, and we can populate the hobby ourselves. And it stops us from having to bring in these wild caught spiders. Now, that being said, wild caught spiders are very, very important, but we still need to play our part. You know, we should be working alongside the wild caught spider and doing our bit, trying to get as much as we can done and be self-sustaining to a certain extent. You know, we will still need wild caught spiders, but if we can slow down the collection, you know, knock off just 20-30% of what we collect overall, then it's got to be a good thing, you know, and it will sustain our hobby for many, many years to come. So it's an important thing to think about. It's a subject all on its own, one which is far too in-depth for us to get into right now, but bear it in mind. Plus the fact breeding is just very exciting. It's a lovely thing to be doing. Right then, I hope you enjoyed that video, and If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and put down in your comments any thoughts you might have, anything like that. We're always really interested to see your comments. And don't forget, it is the BTS this coming Sunday here in the UK. And for us guys in the spider hobby in the UK, the British Tarantula Society show is, I believe, the oldest show in existence in the UK. I can remember going to it as a kid, and it's not changed a great deal since them days. The buzz is still the same for me. It's still as exciting as ever. So even a bit more exciting this year, because we are going to have a table there as well, where we will be selling some of our spiders and our t-shirts and merchandise and bits and pieces. And yeah, it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day. A really, really cool day. I'm so looking forward to it. So if you're in the UK and you're going to be going to the BTS, please do come over, say hello. We're always up for a chat. It'd be lovely to meet some of you guys. And yeah, enjoy the day. Unfortunately, I feel very sorry for our international friends, but keep an eye on YouTube, because there's plenty of people out there that will record the day. Unfortunately, I won't be, because we'll be too busy working, but there will be plenty of stuff there to see for the BTS that you guys abroad will hopefully get to enjoy and see a little bit about what we get up to over here at our spider shows. It's really, really cool. Fabulous, fabulous show. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm already having trouble sleeping. So it's going to be really, really good. Right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed all of that. And don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you all very, very soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.